do I think is the most important thing in Franklin's Tower?
The most important thing?
What do I think is the most important thing about Franklin's Tower?
The most important thing about Franklin's Tower?
So, if you ask me about what the most important thing in Franklin's Tower is, I mean, it's the timeline.
The timeline.
The timeline.
The timeline.
Duh.
Timeline. 18,000 BCE. March 15th, 44 BC. 1867. 1885. September 7th, 1996. In the year 2000.
Like, a lot of people say the cultural center of Franklin's Tower is like the kitchen, or it's the common area when we're having a dinner, a potluck dinner. But, like, that doesn't really hold water for me. For me, it's definitely the timeline.
So, I was not actually here for the founding of the timeline, but rumor has it there was some debate upon its conception. People started out trying to make a straight timeline and realized that there's no way you could fit miles of timeline for important dates. For instance, you know, Socrates' death, in my opinion, the most important one on the timeline. So anyway, a huge debate ensued. A logarithmic timeline was set up, also inadequate. So rumor has it Will was actually the author of the loosely logarithmic timeline. Again, loosely logarithmic, so we could incorporate important events from the Cambrian explosion to present day Franklin's Tower.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it, it was totally a weird situation because, you know, one night I saw Will kind of tacking up the timeline, and it was cute or whatever. There was this big deal. It was going to be loosely logarithmic in time scale. But I knew it wasn't going to work. Like, it's a fucking timeline. No one's going to put shit up on there. It's going to be lame. So like, cute idea, Will, but Will, at the end of the day, like, your timeline is pretty fucking dumb. Right? Like, it's just not going to catch on. It's not going to be a thing. Like, whatever. What? It's scrap paper.
There are 3 rules about the timeline. The first rule is that if you visit Franklin's Tower, you gotta put something on the timeline.
And rule number 2, you never ever, under any circumstances, put your own birthday on the timeline. That's just fucking moronic, and it hurts us all.
Okay, and the third rule is that at the end of the day, you've got to be a little judicious with your timeline usage. Like, at the beginning of the timeline's lifetime, we had some people that were going a little bit crazy with their posts. Like, 1987, my doggy was born. 1988, my doggy turned 1. Like, just because it happened and, like, it's real life doesn't mean it has to be on the timeline. Like, you gotta control yourself from putting shitty-ass pieces of paper up on our wall, because that just will not stand. Like, okay, hold on. It's just like, let me find one. Oh, okay, like this. Okay, like, just because it's true, like, doesn't mean you have to put it on the timeline. Like, there's just no reason to broadcast this to the entire community. Like, people just, like, this isn't something that deserves to go on our wall. Like, get the shit out of here. I don't give a fuck.
Yo, Pan, you ready? Yeah. Man, let's lock and load. Yeah. Just blaze. Yeah. No, turn me up.
This is terrible. Someone took all of the days on the timeline and, like, nothing is in the right place. Like, how it's terrible. It's been ruined. Like, I don't know how we can live with this.
All of the events on the timeline have been moved and now constituting a large-scale time warp just as we're about to leave this place. So, in the same way that each time has its own place on the time-space continuum, the timeline, if you will, the time is losing its place because we are losing our place of Franklin's Tower, therefore our entire sense of time is changing.
And then there's the time warp. Fucking time warp. Came out of nowhere. No good reason for it. But, so it goes.
The time warp, man, that shit was not even funny. I don't even want to talk about that. You know, this interview is over. That's
One.
Did I hear about the time warp? Yes, I heard about the fucking time warp. Franklin's Tower, it's not that big of a deal. So someone rearranged your fucking timeline. Get over it. There are other things to worry about, like Iraq. Fucking shit. See, that's what I don't get about Franklin's Tower, people. It's not a big deal.
Look, I've pulled a lot of fucking pranks in my day, okay? That my life is just a string of practical jokes. And honestly, they're really fucking funny. Like, I don't give a shit. Pull your prank. Like, as long as it's funnier than it is destructive to the community, I'll be right there laughing along with you. Fuck, I'll help you fucking clean it up. I don't give a fuck. But, like, you gotta know when to stop. Like, this has been the worst fucking thing ever. Like, this has just destroyed our community. I don't understand how people would have such poor social skills as to try to pull something like this. I mean, Tupac Shakur shot 100,000 BC? That's not even fucking funny.
This is a disaster. This is everything's in the wrong place. Who would be so cruel to pull such a prank? Like, all our dates are out of order. We can't find anything anymore.
Perfecting my hustle, tell me the world ain't mine. You've been seeing me lately, I'm a miracle, baby. I refuse to lose, this was the ghetto that made me. I put that on my father, trying to hope for tomorrow. When I think that I can't, I envision Obama, I envision them diamonds.
Circumstance was. It's just funny though, because it's like when I think about snuggling with you, it's just like this little thing that comes into my mind.
Still riding, no more pain, no more flow, no more suffering.